guys, what's up? It's Team Crit Hit here coming at you with another deck profile, and today we will be focusing on Rafflesimon Green. So before we kick off and get started in the deck profile, here's a message from our sponsors.
Ultimate TCG is a store that stocks everything TCG related. Whether that be Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic or Digimon, you name it, they've got it. Head over to their website and use the code TCHIT505 to get 5% off your order. Have you been looking for your new favourite playmat? Well, Chao Sugoi is the place to be. Whether it be customised playmats, memory tokens or anything else, they have everything you will need to play the game and more. Even better, when checking out, if you use our discount code TEAMCRITHIT, you can also get 5% off your order.
So kicking off as normal, we are starting with our babies, and our babies consist of 4 Yokemon and 1 Budmon. So Yokemon has the ability of when this Digimon is trashed due to activating a Digimon's Digiburst, one of your Digimon gains plus 2k for the turn. Now this is actually quite good because it allows like rookies to be able to gain powers, stuff like that. Being able to swing over things with a rookie because of the fact that you've used that effect and another effect really does help. Being able to obviously swing over things with 2-cost rookies and stuff like that. Budmon definitely has, it's not as good as the Yokemon, but it's while this Digimon has Digiburst, it gains a K. So most of your Digimon in this deck will have Digiburst, so you are able to gain that K quite easily. But obviously 9 times out of 10 you are Digibursting cards away, so whether this stays underneath it is always another matter. So we'll move on to our rookies. So starting off our rookies, we are playing 4 vanilla Agama. Now the reason I chose to play the 4 Argon is mainly because of the fact that it's a 2-drop. Being able to drop this really cheaply and help out with Digisorption, everything like that, is just, it's just so strong. Like being able to just place that down for 2, and then being able to boost its power up with like the Yokemon if you've Digiburst it away, automatically that Argon's becoming a 5k swing, which 9 times out of 10 might actually survive in security. Obviously, you can hit bigger things, but there's been a couple of games where I've been swinging for this turn after turn, and it's really strong, really strong. So moving on, we will go into our 4 Palmons, the promos. Now these I'm not 100% sure on. I've tested them out. They do come into clutch every now and again, because obviously there is big things in security that you can still hit. So being able to Digiburst away the Palmon and give something like your level 5s or something like that, jamming, can come into clutch sometimes when you really need it to. It's a nice rookie. Having the ability to, when this card is trashed due to activating your Digimon's Digiburst, one of your Digimon gains jamming. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this Digimon, it can be any Digimon you have. So you are able to just give any Digimon you want jamming, which is actually quite strong. So you can swing with, like I said, an Argamon or something like that, giving it jamming, and having a rookie with jamming is always good. So that's why they're in there. So moving on, we are playing 2 Lalmons. Now Lalmon has the ability of, when this card is trashed due to activating the Digimon's Digiburst, return this card to its hand. So effectively you are getting rid of it, activating the Digiburst, and then it comes back to your hand. Now I only have this at 2 because I found that when it was 4 there was a lot more other abilities I'd rather have underneath instead of being able to just bring it back. And with it being a 3-cost, I preferred the 2-cost rookies to the 3. Always comes into clutch more than every now and again. So moving on, we are playing 2 Terrymon. Now Terrymon, the main reason the Terrymon is in here is just because if you are bricking and you have like not the best hand, Terrymon is effectively a free draw. So on play, reveal a top card of your deck. If it's a green Digimon card, add it to your hand, otherwise place it at the bottom of your deck. So in this deck, I think there's probably like 5 cards that aren't green. So unless you're really unlucky and you hit one of those 5 cards, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be adding whatever card you reveal and add to your hand. So it is quite a strong card. Obviously it's a bit bad that it's only the 1, but being able to still look at the top card and add it to your hand is pretty strong and can sometimes pull you out of bricks if you get the card that you need. And finally, we are playing for our level 3s 2 Terrymon. Now I know a lot of lists haven't always been playing Terrymon, have been leaving it out, but I just felt like, especially in our meta at our locals and wherever we've played, that Blinding Ray and Hammer Spark are two of the biggest cards all the way through, and it also quite helps in the mirror match as well with cards such as Weedmon and stuff floating around. So being able to just stop your opponent gaining memory, especially against like the likes of Hex and stuff like that, really does help. Because it's basically saying you have to get rid of this card. So you have to find a way of getting rid of this card, otherwise you are not gaining memory unless it's what I put you on or what your tamer has put you on. So it does allow you to control the board a bit more, because they have to either sometimes overcommit to get rid of a Terrymon, which I know it sounds weird, but they have to play something to get rid of this Terrymon to start gaining their memory, to start doing things that they need to do. So I just find it can be extremely annoying, especially if it's played turn 1, turn 2. Something like that can really come into clutch. So that's it for our level 3s, so we'll move on to our level 4s. So our level 4s, we will start off with the man himself, Weedmon. Weedmon is a 1 cost to digivolve and a 4 cost to drop. Has the ability of, on your turn, when this card is trashed due to activating this Digimon's Digiburst, you gain 1 memory. So effectively you're gaining 3 memory just for getting rid of it. Like, being able to send this to the trash is actually really strong. We got this card in the BTO 5, and it definitely has helped green get a lot stronger. Because that was always the time sometimes that you couldn't always get to the right memory, or you were missing something and you needed 1 more memory, or being able to memory start for your opponent because you're evolving into something like 4 or 5. So being able to gain that memory back allows you to get right up where you need to be. So yeah, we'll move on to our next one, which is our blockers. So we are playing 4 of the starter deck Karu Terrymon blockers. Now the reason we are playing these is because of the fact that it's a 1 cost to digivolve. So the thing with green is it has a lot of options to be able to get up to your numbers and get up to your megas quite cheaply. So being able to, most of your, I think pretty much all of your level 4s are 1 costs. So being able to just lash that down for 1, getting up to like a level 5 extremely quickly. Obviously I know it's a 5k blocker, and I know a lot of people have been trying to tech in the 6k blockers just because of the fact that you've got the likes of Shoutmon and stuff like that floating around, which can pop anything with 5k. But I just felt like the 1 cost was more pivotal in this deck than it was about having the actual blocker up, because you do have other ways of dealing with cards. Obviously it's nice to have a blocker out, so definitely keeping that at 4. Moving on, we are playing for Rochemon. So again, 1 digivolve cost. So like I said, I tried to keep this as cheap as possible. So it's mainly just trying to get out to your megas, get up to your megas, being able to control what's going on, and just being able to overall just have a decent board state. If you can get a lot of these, especially with this, it's a level 4 that has a 3 cost to drop. So if you are bricking, you don't have a rookie like turn 1, turn 2, being able to drop this for 3 is effectively a rookie. So it just comes into clutch so much. Like, it's just so strong because of the fact that it's a 3 drop. I know it's only got 3k DP, but 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be swinging with a Rochemon. And moving on, we are playing 2 Veggiemon. Now the main reason we are playing the 2 Veggiemon is, yes, it's a 1 cost Digivolution and it's a 4 cost drop, so it's nice and cheap, but the main reason is it's the 6000 DP. So like I mentioned, obviously with Shoutmon floating around, Shoutmon has the ability to pop things that have less than, or 5k or less, so being able to have one thing that's 6k obviously takes that out of the equation. They're definitely not going to be able to pop this Veggiemon. 9 times out of 10 they can swing over it, but are they really going to overcommit just to kill a Veggiemon? That is the question. So it's completely up to you. I like the Veggiemon in there just because of the fact that there is a lot of Shoutmon floating around at the moment. So that's why they're in there. So that finishes off our level 4s. So moving on to our level 5s, we are playing 4 Blossomon. Now the main reason we are playing 4 Blossomon, it's the same in every green deck, is because of the Digisorption. So this Digimon has the ability to Digisorption -3. When one of your Digimon digivolves from this card into this card from your hand, you may suspend one of your Digimon to reduce the memory cost of the Digivolution by 3. So not only are you are suspending a Digimon, but you are getting a free Digivolve. And from a level 5, that is insane. Like being able to go into a 1 cost and then being able to, it can even suspend itself and going into for free, just really allows you to fly up to those megas, and especially certain megas that are incredibly helpful. So just that's the main reason it's in there. It's just because it's a free Digivolve if you can get that off. Like that's basically what you need to be said. It doesn't have an inheritable or anything, but that Digisorption is incredibly strong. So moving on, we are playing 4 Lilamans. Now, it really annoys me that I don't have the other one of these. So I only have one. We are on the way. So Lalmon is a 3-costed Digivolve. So obviously, unlike the Blossomon, it is not a free Digivolve, but sometimes it's not too bad, especially if if your opponent puts you on 3, being able to go rookie onto a level 4, which has 1 cost, into this, being able to put your opponent on 1. It's nice to memory starve, and also has the ability of main Digiburst 2, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So you're able to use this to maybe set up a board, suspend a Digimon, or if there's a thing that's particularly annoying you. It has Digiburst, so obviously it will gain the K from like the Budmon, if you have that underneath it, or if you track Yokemon, you're able to get the 2K from that. So there are different ways that you can boost Lilamon's power, and being able to get her up to like an 8 or 9,000 DP hitter. 9 times out of 10 she's going to be able to swing over anything that's not a mega. So it's quite useful. And being able to Digiburst stuff like Weedmon, being able to gain back memory and stuff like that, really does help, especially late game when obviously your opponent can memory starve you and stuff like that. Moving on, we have our final level 5, which is the one of Argon, because of the fact that obviously this card is limited. It has the same ability as the Blossomon, which is the Digisorption. It is able to Digisorb itself down to a free Digivolve. So you've now got 5 Digimon that you can get out for free, just by suspending a Digimon for level 5, which is incredibly strong. Like being able to get out 3 level 5s is it's just nuts. But this one also has the ability of, when attacking, you may play 1 level 3 green Digimon from your hands, suspended without paying its memory cost. So you are able to spam your board and get more and more stuff out. Obviously it does come in suspended, so that's a bit of a downfall, but at the same time you are able to just spam things out and then start playing cards on top of them, obviously with your cheap Digivolution costs, so you are quite enjoying it. So moving on to our megas, we are playing 4 Rafflesimon. Now Rafflesimon is a card that we got in BT05 and has just instantly become one of the main cards in green, mainly because it has a Digivolve cost of 3 from a level 5, but it can also be Digivolved on top of a level 6. So it just helps out a lot being able to stack up. You can it has the ability to Digiburst 2, and when you Digiburst, all of your Digimon gain 2k for the turn. So you are able to get stuff like I said, your Argomons or your Lilamans or something like that up by power. So that's boosting it by 2k. If you're also getting rid of like your Yokemon or something like that from underneath it, you're able to give something else another 2k. So you're able to boost Digimon by like 2 to 4k depending on what you've got underneath it and stuff like that. Obviously if you've got Weedmon underneath it as well, you're gaining memory, you're boosting all of that sort of stuff. So being able to boost your power, gain memory, and like, it's just nuts. Also has the ability of, on your turn, once per turn, when one of your Digimon activates Digiburst, one of your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. So if you have game, if you can have game on board, obviously you can swing for all your security or wipe your board, but they have a blocker, you are able to Digiburst and say that blocker now can't block, and then you just swing in for game. Or obviously being able to stop like pesky things, so like big hitters like Shoutmon or something like that that has lots of security attacks, you're able to nullify that and stop that from attacking. which just, it really helps you control what's going on, control the board state. And it's not just when this Digimon activates Digiburst, it's when any of your Digimon activates Digiburst. So it's just so easy to get that around. So if you can have this Rafflesimon up, you can obviously Digiburst with your Lilamon, and obviously that can also activate. Obviously it's only once per turn because it would be broken if it wasn't, but at the same time it is just a very nice way to control the board. So speaking of control, we are playing, unfortunately for your opponent, 4 Nidhogman. Now Nidhogman is a card that is quite annoying to play against, because if you haven't played around it, it can be quite frustrating. So obviously this card has, when Digivolving, Digiburst 4. Suspend all of your opponent's Digimon with 5k or less. Then place all of your opponent's suspended Digimon at the bottom of their owner's deck in any way, and trash all of their Digivolution cards on those Digimon. So being able to wipe your opponent's board if they've got like the 5k blockers out, which are quite prominent at the minute. Obviously anything that's suspended, so anything that's attacked last turn. Obviously you've got the likes of Lilamon that can, obviously if you've got that out, you can like Digiburst and suspend another thing that's, if it's annoying you or something like that. Obviously the downfall is it is a Digiburst 4, so you do need 4 of the cards underneath it, but Nidhogman is so strong. Like being able to have a 13k blocker, yes it's 5 to evolve, but 9 times out of 10 if you're on like 2, 3, that's not actually that bad. You're only putting your opponent on like 2 or 3 back. So like you can't really complain with that, especially since you've got the likes of the Blossomon and the Argamon that are able to cheat out getting up to level 5. So you're able, especially if you've brought a level 4 out from your raising area, you can Digizorb itself and then go into your Nidhogman. So yes, you are going from a level 4 to a level 6 like quite quickly, so you're going through your level 5 and your level 6, but all you're paying is the 5 cost for the Nidhogman, which is just insane. Like just being able to wipe people's boards, especially if they've not played around it or expecting it to come. 9 times out of 10 now, if you are playing against green, you do expect the Nidhogg to appear at some point, but just having something like that can wipe boards is insane. So moving on, we have our level 7s, and so in this deck I chose to run the Chaosmon Volderams. So I know some people run the Chaosmon other one, the black and green one, but I just felt like the yellow and green one was just a lot more control based. So being able to Nidhogg away some stuff, obviously then if you have enough memory you can go into a Volderam, or being able to like Rafflesimon, stop things from going in, go on to Volderarm after you've attacked with it all, and just being able to minus, so its effect is activate with the following effects twice. One of your opponent's Digimon gains minus 7k for the turn. So obviously if you're playing something against something like Imperial Digimon or something like that, most of their level 5s have 7k DP, so being able to pop things like that, or you can do it twice and do it to the same thing and get rid of like a big thing off the board, and also has the ability of on deletion gain 3 memory. So that 3 memory, obviously, if they're going to swing into your Volderarm, you are gaining memory back. So you are not, so you don't mind leaving it suspended, because if they do swing at it, you are still getting the memory back, which can sometimes pass turn, especially if you've got a tamer, putting you back to 3. It just really makes them think about killing it, mainly just because of the fact that you do gain that memory. So yeah. Moving on, we are with our one and only option card, and I guess you can guess what it is. It is Hidden Potential Discovered. Now this card is obviously limited to 1, like we understand why, but at the same time, it still sucks. So this has the ability to, the next time one of your green Digimon Digivolves, this turn you may suspend one of your other Digimon to reduce the memory cost of its Digivolution by 5. So it's effectively Digisorption, but it's, instead of reducing it by 3 or 2 or 1, it's reducing it by 5, which is every single card in the game would be able to Digivolve for free for green, because obviously I think the highest we've had is 5 as a Digivolution cost for anything other than like level 7, sorry. So being able to play a Hidden Potential Discovered and get a Nidhogg out for free, or a Rafflesimon out for free or something like that, is nuts. So being able to get a Nidhogg out for free, wiping your opponent's board, and then also swing with it if you've managed to get it up that way or something like that. Like, it's just insane. Like, you're getting so much more value because of the fact that you're getting that and not passing over turn. So that really does help. So Hidden Potential Discovered is a must-have in green decks as far as I'm concerned. It's only a one-off because obviously it is limited, but it's got to be in there as far. And finally, to round off the deck, we are playing 2 Mimi. So I think Mimi is one easily of the strongest tamers still. So she came in BT1, and I just think like being able to spam things out from your raising area. So obviously she's a memory tamer. She puts your memory up to 3 if your opponent's trying to memory starve you. So she's always nice to have out that way. But she also has the ability of main. If you have a level 5 or higher green Digimon in play, you can spend this tamer to hatch 1 Digi-Egg card to an empty space in your breeding area, or move 1 level 3 or higher Digimon from your breeding area to your battle area. So 9 times out of 10, some people actually do forget that Mimi is just sat down here. So you are able to hatch a Digimon, play a level 3 on top of it, suspend Mimi to bring that level 3 out, and that level 3 can then attack. So sometimes your opponent, when they are doing like all the calculations of how many swings you've got for a turn and stuff like that, they don't take into account that Mimi is sat down there. So they can always leave like 1 blocker or something like that, and being able to just go, oh well, I've got game because I can play a rookie and bring it out straight away, is just nuts. So yes, that is my green profile. If you like the thing, just don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for the deck or any questions, just feel free to leave them in the comments. And before we go, here is another word from our sponsors.
Crit Hit Game Hub is the largest gaming store in Liverpool and stocks all things games. From card games to D&D to Warhammer, whatever game you play, they have a place for you. Also, using our codes CritHitDigiTeam, you can also get 10% off your order.